looking at right now, the pharma logistics or the pharma challenges, whatever we are facing for the past, say, 15 days or so. I know it's not an easy situation to deal to any of the people who are associated with pharma. So all the more rough days and day, so people might forget to log in on time. Battling and handling the challenges what they are having right now.
True. In fact, not only the pharma, we handle a lot of IT clients also. There we are facing challenges related to the imports clearance, and all these are the exporter and renowned exporter, and their production will get affected.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. We have got 39 participants as of now, and we are seeing that the participants are joining in. So we will be joining the webinar maybe in a couple of minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes we'll be joining the webinar. Thank you. For the people, participants who have logged in for the past minute or so, we have got 53 participants as of now. We will be starting the webinar in 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Sandeep, welcome to our webinar. And Sandeep Wadhwan is the president and sales head of Argus Globus Logistics. Yeah, looking to have a great session to you. And thank you for joining us, Mr. Sandeep.
Satish bhai, Argus Global is Mr. Mahesh Trika's venture.
Yes. Based out of Delhi.
Yeah, it's 3:05 and let's start off. We are having 59, so 60 participants. So people will keep joining in. I know it's a very rough day and a tough day and a week for the pharma industry. Yeah. Namaskar, good afternoon. I'm Gubba Kiran, and I'm the CEO of Gubba Pharma Cold Storage. And we have been here in the cold storage industry since 1987, second generation entrepreneurs. Been there, done that. We have been, we are known for ourselves in the seed industry, preserving various seeds. And typically, in 3 years ago, one fine afternoon, we decided to serve pharma. And yeah, since 3 years, we have been taking our toddler steps to serve pharma. And out there, some pharmaceutical serving is a very big jungle out there. Whatever we have learned in the last 33 years, we literally had to unlearn every day, every moment to serve pharma. And from 0 to 6,600 pallets in 3 years, South India's biggest pharma compliant cold storage facility, and India's second largest pharma compliant cold. That's little about Gubba in terms of what we were like. I mean, yeah, we did inspire the pharma world fraternity with our services. We hardly had a temperature excursion in the last 2 years. We didn't had rather, not hardly, we didn't have a temperature excursion in the last 2 years in our pharma facility. It's a GDP approved. And we have got the MSDS team in place. We have got the pharma QA team in place. What it takes to serve pharma, जो pharma की ज़रूरत है, हमने मतलब खड़ा कर रहे हैं और खड़ा करना पड़ेगा. Now, why this webinar? Yeah, in the midst of challenging circumstances, I know as I keep saying, probably 63 people who are here and many people out there, thousands and thousands of people. We are also COVID warriors. We are no less than. I'm not saying that. I'm not comparing us with the doctors and the direct medical fraternity out there, but we are also COVID warriors. If we don't produce the medicine, if we don't supply the medicine to the hospital or to a medical store or to a home, altogether more challenging. We have kept aside our moods, thoughts, opinions, challenges, what the family says, what the team says, all that we kept addressing it. Yet we did not give up and ensured that the medicine reached the world, and we got medicine from the world, and the medicines reached out to all the, the parts of the country. Consistent. Yes, we are COVID. So yeah, right now what we're happening, the challenges, what we lockdown things, two new challenges are emerging, and right now the India challenges we are facing out there, the industry are also now life has to move on, yeah, and have to move on the best of the way. So survival of the survival of the quickest new mantra, which I keep hearing in the COVID circumstances. And LCL reefer consolidation is one thing where we thought, let's scratch the surface doing it. And there are many myths and facts why not put this, the world interact, let the India interact, and that is how we have put across the eminent speakers and moderator to tap upon this important sustainable supply chain pharma sustainable solution. So I hereby now my part is done, so I'll quickly introduce our moderators and the speakers today. Yeah, our moderator is well known, Mr. Satish Lakkaraju is the Chief Commercial Officer for India at Agility Logistics Private Limited. He's professionally with the industry 20 years ago at AFPL Private Limited and worked in various capacities with companies like AFL Private Limited, Dasher India. He has been associated with Agility Logistics for 2 years for now. He's passionate about life He speaks in various forums in India and overseas on various subjects like unbroken cold chain, infrastructure at airports of cargo handling for pharma, perishables, etc. exports. He's a motivational speaker and likes to be ahead of the curve. That's a little about Mr. Satish Lakkaraju. And I've got Mr. Kamal Jain from Cargoman Logistics. I think the speaker here. Kamal Jain is director of the industry leading logistics company, Cargoman Logistics India Private Limited, dealing with special economic zone, foreign trade related matters with a vision to put Hyderabad on global import and export market. This will be an exceptional achievement for Hyderabad and Telangana as we are landlocked. Owing his expertise for more than 20 years, we will be privileged to get how India is evolving on this sector, and we are at par with global leaders. That's little about Mr. Kamal Jain. Now, from the pharmaceutical company, we have got Mr. Ravi Kumar Tummalapalli Teva Pharmaceuticals. Ravi is seasoned SE professional with more than 2 decades of industry contributions in almost all sub-functions of supply chain, managing the complexities end-to-end, demand, planning, logistics, warehousing, distribution, inventory management, export, import, etc. During his career, he has worked with 3PL, retail, and predominantly with pharmaceutical industries. Ravi has been associated with big pharmaceutical companies like Dr. Reddy's, Intas for the last 7 years. He's associated with Teva on different roles and currently is the head of logistics for APAC, China, Japan-based markets out of their Mumbai office. That's very little about Ravi. Let me move on to Rituparna Chaturvedi, who is from Agility Logistics. Mr. Rituparna Chaturvedi is the life science vertical head at Agility Logistics Private Limited, 19 years of rich and dynamic experience in sales and marketing across various industry verticals like supply chain management, cold chain management, quality management, systems, humanitarian, logistics, life sciences, clinical logistics, freight forwarding. As life science vertical head at Agility Logistics India Private Limited, he actively engaged in development and diversification of life science verticals at Agility Logistics, strengthening customer relationship, offering value and solutions, and execution of quality GDP requirements, that is processes, documentation, non-conformity handling. Finally, last but not the least, the container man. We have got Ahmed Sheikh from Ocean Network Express India Private Limited. Ahmed Sheikh is the branch manager of the Ocean Network Express Private Limited, Hyderabad and Vizag. Earlier worked for Transworld Group, handled MICS and Messica Line. Also worked as an export in charge manufacturing company. More than 15 years in shipping and logistics. Strong knowledge of shipping and logistics. Also a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Shipbroker. We have got 86 people here and a few of us will be logging in. So over to Mr. Satish Lakkaraju. The floor is open to you, sir.
Thank
As
you.
you are the moderator. Yeah.
Kiran, thank you for that opening remarks. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear now. I'm having some internet issues because the weather in Delhi is now so
Are
different
having
today.
your internet issues, Mr. Satish?
Yes. Okay. So, but I will start the session now on a very interesting subject that is close to my heart and on which I've been working for quite some days along with a few people. So, the first important thing is that the global pharma market is valued at 69 billion in 2019, and it's expected to rise to 118.9 billion by 2027. So that's the first starting remark that I want to make, that this is an industry which is expected to grow and will continue to grow. Having said that, the critical aspect is that while the pharmaceutical companies are doing well and are expected to do well, there are a lot of cost pressures on them as well to explore and see how the overall supply chain cost can be brought down. And in the current scenario, one of the biggest challenges that is facing is the space on the airlines and the rates that are going. In that context, it's important to explore the opportunity
Mr.
of
Sandeep,
LCL
your
as a
voice
product,
is
and for
cracking.
which
Mr. Satish, your voice is cracking. Microphone little clear. Sorry, little near. Yeah.
okay. Uh, can Ravi and Ritu hear, or others
Yeah.
also facing the same problem?
No, we can hear you.
No, I can also hear you.
Right now
I
it's
can hear
better.
you. I can hear
Okay,
you
so
clearly.
okay, fine. So I think the problem is with Kiran's internet connection. Okay. So what I would do is that I will straight away go into the questions to the panel members. I know we've got a very good panel before us. So the first question that I would want to place to Ravi today is service. When we have not done it for the last few decades, why are we looking at this product today? Is there any specific reason that we should be looking at the product? So over to you, Ravi.
Thanks, Satish and Kiran for organizing this webinar. I think this is a very unique topic. I don't think in the recent past anyone has touched upon this subject or had any kind of conference seminar. Of course, this topic has been in discussions for many years. Of course, more than about 10, 15 years, I've been talking about that. Why not we have an LCL service for pharmaceutical products, but it never took off for various reasons. From an pharmaceutical manufacturer point of view, if you look at generics is becoming more competitive in nature. There are a lot of pricing pressures because of US and Europe, where everyone wants to supply affordable medicines to their patients and then their citizens. And generics as a product itself is a volume game, and there's hardly any margins which are left for the manufacturers, with so many manufacturers already available and then capacities available to supply these products in the market. So in nutshell, I think logistics is an area where it is evolving every day. And every day we are looking at different options, different alternatives where we can put our logistics costs competitive, make it competitive, our products competitive, and then make it cheaper for the end customer. And when we are talking about this LCL service, I suppose this has come up as an alternative for non-critical air freight shipments, where you don't have, or the supplier doesn't, manufacturer doesn't have a full container load, but let's say about 5 pallets or 6 pallets of load, wherein either they need to wait for the full container to be formed, or opt for air freight solution, which is very expensive. I suppose it is coming at the right time. This particular discussion and alternative is coming at the right time onto the table for the manufacturers. And I'm sure there is no other player or no other service provider who is offering this service. I'm sure that this is going to be successful, and then many of us will board onto this soon. So I think that's what overall my opinion is from both the points, from a logistics service provider point of view and a manufacturer standpoint, pharmaceutical manufacturer standpoint. It's going to be a very good innovative solution, if we start implementing it.
Ravi, thank you for those remarks. So I know that everyone is looking at alternatives, and this surely is an alternative. So I will move on to Rituparna, because I know that having worked for Agility myself for 5 years, the PCC concept was one among the first concepts that Agility started many years ago. And the PCC, or the Pharma Competence Center, was constituted to be an LCL option as well, which was not the case. However, now that you are looking at this product, what do you think is the need for the product now, Ritu?
Yeah. So thank you, Satish. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Gupa. So coming straight to this, the question, and in addition to what just Ravi mentioned, because we've been working on various projects with various pharma companies globally and India as well, where the need for the cost competitiveness was discussed. So we've been doing a lot of projects like where we did some kind of the like from A to C, maybe working out some kind of consolidation, a bias consolidation for them. But yes, there has been a complexity. But at the very same time, we have seen that when it comes to the an ocean freight container, which is sealed at the shipper's place, and then so the challenges were like less, because we have seen that it was quite successfully executed, and any kind of the temperature excursions can be avoided. So we've kept on working on it. So based on our learning on doing the bias consolidation, we came across like what could be the possible challenges, and then we were working to mitigate that kind of any possible risk. So now it's a time, because where we see that the air freight costs are going high, there is a continuous demand from the customers that how we can reduce the cost, on how we can serve those the less than container the shipments, which could be a 4 pallet or 3 pallet, and then those are like not that urgent, which is needs to be delivered immediately. So I think it's the right time. The learning is good. We have been there has been quite a support from many of the pharma companies, and then all the quality, the compliance aspects that are all in place. So it's a right fit, where we see that it could be it can work out to be a next better alternative of shipping, and that's where I see that it's the right time where we execute and we launch this as a product.
Thank you, Ritu, for those clarity given on why the LCL product is a good option as an alternative. I will move on to Ahmed Sheikh, who is from the shipping line side and who have been typically handling full containers. And there are very few people who have volunteered or looked into it. So what is the potential market for the pharmaceutical reefer LCL service? So Ahmed, if you can throw some light on the likely potential that this service could have.
Thank you, Satish, and thank you, Kiran, for the opportunity. Firstly, when I got an invite on this topic, I was thinking that we do FCLs, and we need to talk about LCLs. Later, after going through a couple of sessions, then I understand the importance of attending this session. I just want to say one thing, like change is the one thing which is very, very, very constant in this world, and remaining is only variable. So if you see, there is a lot of change in shipping, and from manual bill of lading, today we are talking about paperless bill of lading. And when it comes to LCL, we keep getting inquiries from most of the customers that we have small parcels to ship in reefers, give us a 20-foot reefer. So generally, when you look at from a carrier point of view, whenever we are shipping any reefer cargo from India to US, we prefer moving in 40s, because we don't have a demand for the return cargo back to other PODs. So we always discourage shippers to prefer 40-foot high cube reefer to move. That's the one. And then there are so many shippers also complain that we have a small parcels and we can't use 40-foot high cube reefer, and because it again destabilizes the entire cargo inside the container. So many challenges the shippers, I feel, pharma industry is facing. It's a right time that such a thought has come about shipping reefer cargo in LCLs. There is a lot of potential, what I feel, in the market, because we are growing from Indian point of view. So there is a lot of opportunity also lying. So from my side, I feel it's a very nice concept, Satish.
Thank you, Ahmed. So you have touched on a very important aspect of the 20 feet and the 40 feet, because I see a few of the important pharma shippers on this from biological event and rest of them also on this. So Tirumala or someone may be thinking is that why can't we get 20 feet containers in the Indian market? So you've touched upon that important aspect that, you don't have return loads coming in US, and US being a critical market. So when 40s are available, then LCL consolidation makes absolute sense when more
Exactly.
people can share the same load as well. So I think that is a very valid point that you have brought into light. So I will move on to Kamal Jain. Uh, Kamal, who's been in the Hyderabad market for quite some time and understands the requirements of the Hyderabad market being a typical landlocked state, which we call. And being a landlocked city, there are many disadvantages because the accessibility to the containers is not so easy. It either has to come from Navasheva or Chennai, which are 800 to 900 kilometers away. In that scenario, with so many people trying to ship, what do you think is the potential for the market for an LCL from Hyderabad as well as generally as a product?
Satish, thank you. Thank you for giving opportunity. This is an important subject which need to be addressed by the industry, which need to be looked on by the industry. And first and the foremost thing we need to understand, in an international trade, the basic nature of the import and export takes place is by the comparative advantage. The Indian pharma industries is enjoying the comparative advantage in terms of the cost, and they become the global supplier because their cost of production is lesser. We are producing the pharma product at the half of the cost of the Europe and lesser than the USA. And in that situation, when things are getting competitive and freight rates are going high, LCL reefer consolidation is one of the solutions which can resolve this type of issues. People find it very challenging in terms of there are certain compatibility issues, there are contamination issues, there are issues with respect to the warehouse for the loading and unloading purpose requirement, and comparatively the CFS infrastructure with respect to keeping the goods inside the container. But we need to understand, though there are challenges, in the LCL reefer, a situation where multiple shipper under the one master airway bill shipping the goods to the multiple consignee under the one master airway bill, we may not look into the situation where everything comes into the one reefer container. We are trying to start a solution with a situation where there could be a single shipper, multiple consignee, single item, a single chemical. Pharma is nothing but a chemical, which will not have a compatible issue also. So keeping that in mind, to start with, a solution has to be acceptable by the pharma industry. There are a lot of apprehension with respect to the quality, whether the quality of or the efficacy of the product gets cargo. Because when we compare with the air cargo, the journey of the cargo is lesser. So imagining and finding whether that chemical will sustain to same chemical property and the physical property if the duration is longer. So a lot of study is needed whether all the cargo can go or what type of cargo can go. So a compatibility study is needed in this direction. And when it comes to the requirement in the market, yes, indeed, there is a requirement in the market. Only thing is, there is a requirement of change in the mindset. If in the current situation, when things are changing and cost of the production has to be maintained with respect to the not increasing the freight rate, we have to resort to such type of solution and finding a way how it can be done. So there is a market for that.
Okay. Kamal, thank you for bringing out a couple of things. What you brought about is the need for infrastructure at because the ICs and CFSs typically need the required infrastructure to handle an LCL reefer. Currently, the Indian ICDs and CFSs really cannot address those issues. So we need to see how that can be addressed as well. And we don't have anyone from the ICD or CFS today on the panel, but it will be interesting to see what is going to be done. So what I will do is that I will move now back to Ravi and ask him, how does the pharmaceutical reefer product or the LCL product mitigate the risk of cross-contamination? Because that is a critical aspect that every pharma company will be looking at. Can we mix APIs and can we mix formulations? Can we mix the other goods? So maybe you would like to throw light on this more specific.
I think, Satish, from pharmaceuticals point of view, one, we've already narrowed down our scope only for pharmaceutical products, which is quite good, because when we talk about LCLs, people start getting into mind, my cargo is going to be consolidated along with non-pharmaceutical products like engine parts or machines or paints or something else, or FMCG products. So that is where the whole notion starts. So people, at least from the pharmaceutical world, they would first of all say that I don't want to combine my cargo with anything else, because it will cause contamination. It will cause some foul smell when it reaches the destination. And even if in many of the cases we saw that even if there are any bird droppings on the pallet, on the surface of the pallet, even that also is considered as an contamination in European markets. And even the people get scared, what is that on the pallet, or what kind of GMP and GDP you are maintaining when you start seeing bird droppings on the pallet. So it is not only the GDP, but when it comes to handling of the pharmaceutical products, if there is a spillage of paint, if there is a spillage of oils or any kind of non-pharmaceutical product onto the pallet, it creates quite a lot of challenges, wherein the whole pallet can be quarantined, the batch has to be quarantined. Probably in some cases they will have to do a testing of the product to ensure that the efficacy of the product is proper. So in LCLs till now have not been so successful, just because that the shippers are not willing, or they have a lot of apprehensions when they hand over the cargo to the, or what kind of other products will be combined with that, particularly causing cross contamination. So when we look at only pharmaceutical products, yes, you have products with some of the products need 15 to 25 degrees, and some of the products they might need specific humidity requirements also within the container. And that is the reason we will have to design a product which can give assurance to the shippers that all the other LCLs which are consolidated together have a similar kind of requirements, which will really give the confidence to the shipper that it is not, my product is safe in even if it is LCL, and respective SOPs have to be put in place, respective lane risk assessments have to be done, and that will be part of the quality agreements which you will be having with the pharma shippers. So I think we need to be very clear in terms of what product is going to be allowed and what is not allowed in the LCL consolidation. Of course, within the pharmaceutical space, that will give confidence to the shipper to at least try a couple of shipments after conducting all the lane risk assessments. Back to you, Satish.
Thank you, Ravi. So I'll move to Kamal. Maybe you want to throw some more light on what Ravi has said in terms of the risk mitigation and cross contamination. For a reason is that if you look at Hyderabad, the ICD Sanatnagar today or the CFSs have not traditionally handled something like this. So how would we be able to then look at that as a situation in Hyderabad specifically?
Exactly. Satish bhai, Ravi ji has rightly pointed out, in order to send the cargo successfully, and that to be for a multiple shipper or a multiple consignee, the most important thing is the compatibility check, whether they can go together. And for that, we need to have one basics right. Pharmaceutical goods are nothing but chemical, and the physical and the chemical property of the product keep on changing when there is a change in the temperature, there is a change in the pressure. So these are the temperature control cargo, and becomes very important. This has to be stuffed and moved and operated in an environment which is conducive, or a certified environment, because the global pharma product expect GDP, GMP, or the GSP compliances, or the protocols need to be observed. And these are, if there is a breach in such type of practices, we will find it difficult for the acceptance of the cargo by the consignee. And in such situation, if I remember, Mr. Gubba has got one certified warehouse which is well accepted by the global standards, and that can be used as a place of consolidation for the LCL cargo, which are compatible in nature, which can go together.
Okay. So I'll then quickly move to Kiran himself, since you've said that they have a facility which can look at it. Maybe Kiran, you want to throw light on what are the possible challenges that the pharmaceutical manufacturers' point of view to ship products using then refrigerated LCL. You know, they must be foreseeing some challenges, and that is why they have not been shipping so far. But maybe you want to throw some light before I come back to Ravi.
Yeah. So the foremost challenge is, will I have any temperature excursions? I can't afford a temperature excursions. An ice cream can afford, a butter can afford, a vegetable can afford, but not pharmaceutical. So we have been conveying to the pharmaceutical world, say in the last 2 years, with whatever 10,000 or 12,000 vertical readings we have got, we had never ever got one excursion. So with the past, what we have performed, we keep telling people to trust. And ours is a GDP approved warehouse cold storage facility. And we have a QA team in place. We have got the MSDS, we've got the change rooms. We have got a global class racking system. We have got what it takes to serve pharma. It's not just हमने 4 दीवार खड़ा कर दिया और बोलते हैं yes, मतलब एयर कंडीशन है, LCL हो जाएगा. No. We have got the infrastructure needed in place. Now, the 40-foot reefer container, yes. A 20-foot reefer container, yes. We've got a plug-in system. What else the industry wants? We are ready to do it if we have any lacking. But it's plug and play. You can start off. We have got the regulations also in place. The custom bonded inbound, the custom bonded outbound, even the regulatories also. We have addressed it. The customs permission at our end, and so on. Yeah. Over to you, Satish.
Okay. So maybe I can go back to Ravi to quickly say that, is there any specific apprehension that any of the pharmaceutical companies will have, that if an X company and a Y company can put their products in the same box? Because the general apprehension that maybe the industry thinks is that two people don't want to put their products together. While they are going in the same aircraft, they may be traveling in the same aircraft to the same country. So why not the cargo going in the same 40-feet container together? So is there any apprehension that you think have, or just to give the clarity to everyone on the webinar?
I think Satish, your point is right. It used to be there in the past. If you ask me, it used to be there in the past where people doesn't want to share their documents. People doesn't want to share resources. They don't even want to share their product being combined together or going together. But I think frankly to say, every industry matures over time, and pharma industry is also maturing, and now they realize that there's no harm in collaboration with other shippers. In any case, if you're sending air cargo shipments, all the shipments are going to be consolidated in one aircraft at the airport. So it's a similar concept what we are talking about LCL, where you're going to consolidate multiple shippers, multiple products within the same container. More so, during the COVID times, we have already seen all the pharma companies, many of the pharma companies have come together in order to collaborate, in order to consolidate their cargoes within the domestic market also, where there is so much of restriction in terms of movement of trucks, availability of trucks, availability of pharma core group, all kind of informations and resources also wherever it is required. So I think gone are those days with those apprehensions, and now all the companies, all the people can really work together and give the best to the organizations. So there is no harm in collaboration with a finished product, particularly where you're not going to open the product, see what is the chemical combination or what does it contain. It is only a physical distribution will be any apprehension, as long as their concerns in terms of temperature control, concerns in terms of cross-contamination, concerns about cost is taken care of. I don't think there is any other apprehension associated anymore.
Okay. Thank you, Ravi. Because I know that I had asked this question with a specific thing, is that today when the cargo goes to the airport, everyone, the airline themselves puts it on a pallet and then they palletize it and they send it. And it may end up in the same warehouse in Louisville, that all the Hyderabad shipper customers may end up in the same UPS warehouse probably in Louisville. So there's nothing wrong really as long as the quality processes are followed. So thank you for that clarification. So I'll move to Ritu now. Ritu, considering pharma is highly regulated, what type of facilities would be required for consolidation and deconsolidation? One is you consolidate here in India, but then pharma, we would not expect to do a groupage and then a reworking in between in any airport or any seaport. But
Yeah.
you would expect that at the destination, the delivery term, that important aspect.
Correct. Yeah. So this is a very, very important question, because when we are discussing LCL, so it's not only limited to the origin, because we will need to have the similar kind of the facility at the destination as well. So all the processes, the quality, the procedures, and the selection of the facility becomes very, very important. So because it's all pharma, which is highly regulated product. So generally the full QMS needs to be implemented. A quality management system needs to be implemented as per the pharma standards. And this needs to be, yes, surely a dedicated facility. And as Mr. Ravi mentioned, that it needs to be the product which we are storing needs to be of the similar nature, because it should not be the case that we have a possibility of any contamination or any odor or any spillage, or which is like leading to non-compliance basically. So for the facilities, the most important aspect is basically that you need to have the temperature monitoring, and there needs to be a 100% visibility of on the temperatures as well as the humidity. So this is a very important aspect, which where you need to have the data logs as well as a live visibility of the temperature monitoring of that particular facility, which is like 24/7, which is running. Another thing, that when you are building the facility, there has to be a proper temperature mapping, because that also becomes a evident document for your cool spot and the hot spot within that facility, which is needed at the times of the audit. We should always encourage that any pharma company who wants to ship out their product, they should go and do the audit They should observe what is the procedures which is followed. So which is like then we are on the similar on the similar level as per their expectation and our deliverance. Another aspect which we have learned is like the supplier management, which is like a detailed, very detailed procedure, because you will have a transporter, you will have maybe an equipment operator, which is basically, and there has to be a proper quality agreement with them, and then there needs to be a proper SOP agreed with any of the suppliers which you are engaging, which will be touching base this particular facility. Then the another important aspect is on the security aspect, that the facility needs to be having a controlled access, where the authority needs to be with the supervisor of that facility, preferably like needs to be a pharmacist who knows the nature of the product, and then take a call that which all how it needs to be stored within that particular facility. We have learned that the GDP is the basic standard. So when we are implementing the QMS, if we can do the GDP certification of the facility, that is an added advantage, because that allows you to uniform the process as per the global standards in terms of the hygiene conditions, what type of the pest control needs to be there in place, what type of the backup system needs to be there, how you will map the different type of the contingency whenever anything fails. So it is always prefer that it needs to be a GDP certified. That's what. So and then this both the aspect needs to be implemented both at the origin and the destination, because when we are doing a consolidation or a deconsolidation, the farmer is resting for some time there. Yeah. So that's what my take is.
No, so that's a very good input that you have given, because in the questions that have been asked or posted, this was a lot of people have asked this part of it. So what I'll do is I'll come to Kamal Jain to ask him that today in India, the reefer trucking is still currently a challenge area, that you may do the infrastructure at the ICD at India side, and then you may have a very good facility at the other side. With respect to bringing the cargo from the shipper's place into these places, how critical will be that aspect, and how do you think that can also be addressed? Because that is also something some of the people have raised in the Q&A part of it. Kamal, you are muted. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Satish, important question, and the most important aspect which differentiate pharma among the temperature controlled cargo is the requirement of other protocols. The most important thing is selection of the right partners. Your partner who is sensitized with the pharma movement of pharma, so that they can take care of those protocols, SOP, GDP requirement, and temperature excursions. Temperature excursion or the temperature control is one of the requirement, but other requirement related to the contamination, leakage, and the activity to be done in case something goes wrong becomes very important. So,
Mr. Kamal, your internet is weak. Request you to go off video. Your internet is weak. Request you to go off video.
just gonna let me am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, you're audible now.
Kamal.
At my end, you can take it to another speaker for a time. So some internet challenges at my end.
Kamal, you can go ahead. No? Otherwise, can I move on to Ahmed Sheikh then?
I can hear you, Satish.
Okay. So while I come back to Kamal a little later, in the pharma and the LCL and the FCL product, the value of the cargo plays a substantial part of everything. Even when we take a 40 feet container, the first thing that the shipping line generally asks us is, what is the value of the cargo? So the challenge that comes up in LCL is that when you have multiple shippers and there's a multiple value, and if the combination of all is higher than the 5 lakhs US dollar, then it's a different challenge for the shipping line. And it's also, each customer may come back and say, but I am not responsible for the value, you check with someone else. So what will be the shipping line's take in such a scenario? Because it's a very interesting scenario, which is not there in the general LCL product.
Yes. So just let me say, when it comes to pharma, majority it was earlier moving by air. Now, due to competition among pharmaceutical companies, they want to ship everything by sea. The main intention is to reduce the cost. So the carrier expertise, how to define this pharmaceutical product, wider sentence. Now, when it comes to pharmaceutical products, we ask the shipper the name and what is that temperature they want to maintain, and what is the cargo value, and what is the limit, plus 15 to 18 degree upper limit and lower limit. These are the main thing we ask the pharma company, and then based on that we offer the rates to the pharma company. Here, I just want to tell you, for pharma company, what they expect from the carrier is a tighter transportation and storage conditions. Means faster delivery of their cargo to the destination, and everything should go in a smooth way. This is what the expectation of the pharma industry. The risk what the carrier is facing is commercial risk, because the value of the cargo most of the time is very, very high, and legal risk, and then social risk, because if there is something goes wrong, product is of no use. So these are like regular cargo, wherein we need some kind of a control, we need some kind of a monitoring about this pharma cargo. And what I see every time is load hard stuff cargo. Please avoid hard stuff cargo loading in a container, okay? Because it damages cargo as well as a container. Then you have malfunctions for a reefer. So coming back to this value, generally what the shipping companies allow is today $500,000, and more than $500,000. There are so many procedures the shipping line carrier follow. Some ask for the LOI, letter of indemnity, from the shipper, direct shipper, and some charge high pharma premium. These are the two options prevalent in the market. When it comes to LCL, I feel that it's a consolidated, it's an NVO who is giving us a box. So the NVO should declare the entire value to the shipping company, carrier. And based on that, negotiations, I think it's a really good thing to start with. It is possible, and I feel most of the pharma moves from India to predominantly to US East Coast. And today we have a lot of services from Nhava Sheva to East Coast, and between 20 to 30 days, the cargo is into New York, Savannah, Norfolk, and Charleston. So it's a nice idea to start reefer consolidation, LCL consolidation, Satish. This from my side.
Thank you, Ahmed. I know we are missing Kamal at the moment, but I'll pose this question first to Ritu. Is that you would have noticed that each shipping line has a different way to calculate the high value surcharge and there is no consistency in it. How big is the challenge is that for you to do a consolidation product? Because with no consistency and the high value surcharge being there, is that a showstopper for someone like you?
Certainly not, because see, what happens is like when you are engaging into a scheduled service, so it's a kind of you have already estimated like how many sailings you are going to do in the next maybe say 6 months or next 1 year. So that is like basis on that the contract is all is well negotiated with the carrier for those sailings, and we cover that aspect because we know that the pharma is generally like there could be a possibility that sometimes it may go more than $500,000. So we negotiate on terms of the premium, suppose if it is there, and maybe we ask them to stretch the capping. So it's not a showstopper, but yes, we have to be careful in seeing that basically that how the value needs to be declared, and it needs to be defined in the contract with the carrier.
So what I will do now is that Kiran, we've done the basic part of the webinar of covering all the questions.
Yep.
And I see a lot of questions, so I will pick up a few questions and then address it to the panel member.
Absolutely.
Mr. Rajiv Shethe, who is a well-known trainer and a specialist in the ocean and air, whom I know personally, has posed a question: do pharma companies have shelf life problem because of which they use air shipments? Maybe Ravi, you want to take that question? Why do the pharma companies have shelf life problems because of which they use air shipment or not?
No, Satish. I think shelf life could be one of the reasons, but predominantly most of the products will have more than 24 or 36 months of shelf life. So shelf life is definitely not a concern. It is mostly to do with demand supply. Demand supply can vary quite substantially, particularly in these kind of pandemic situations, where we can't predict what is going to be the demand in the next 15 days or next 1 month even. So air shipments are mainly used for supporting the demand supply situation, one. Second, there are a lot of new products what we launch, particularly most of the Indian pharmaceutical companies launch many new products into US market. And for all the new launches, people don't look at what would be the cost of the air freight, but they would like to launch the product on the day one of the approval. So because of that, and day one of the approval, it is very important, very prestigious for all the companies to launch their product, and they want their product to be available on every pharmacy's shelves, and because of which we do quite a lot of air freight into the developed markets. Mainly these two reasons.
Thank you, Ravi. I hope for Rajiv Shethe this has been answered, but I know personally that most of the pharma companies with which we have been working, from 100% air freight, it came down to 80-20, but I also now it is almost come to 60-40, or it is coming down to a much more in the days to come. So absolutely that that is an important aspect. I see Vikram Kurana also is on the conference, and he has posed a question, and I may ask my Kiran Gubba to answer it. What liabilities arise on the part of the logistics service providers, truckers basically, who has to go from point A to point B and stuff and have zero issues? Maybe Kiran, you want to answer it, that what will be the truckers' liability point of view in the whole process, if you can.
Of course, the stock will be insured at. I mean, in our facility. I mean, the infrastructure and the stock will be insured at Gubba. So, what else liability is that you're looking at? You're talking about the temperature excursions or the operational inconveniences?
In multiple ways. Today, what happens is that when an incident happens, the basic issue that comes up today is that no one wants to take the liability. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
They, for multiple reasons. Ritu had clarified and said that there are regulatory reasons. There are many other things. The important aspect is that if there is a temperature excursion, then each one blames the other one and the trucker becomes responsible because he's carrying the cargo. The manufacturer says, look, I have manufactured the cargo, but at the loading point, there could be a chance that it did not have the required canopy or the return air has come in. You know, so the establishing of liability sometimes becomes a very no man land is there. And then the poor trucker might be struggling to get his food today in the COVID scenario. Then you go and tell him, look, this 5 crores claim on your head. Then will he go and collect his outstandings from the market or will he attend the claims? So I know from where Vikram Khurana is bringing up this question, but it's a very genuine question. So I thought probably, you know, it is an important aspect that we need to discuss.
Like say for example, in our facility, like, I mean, we have got the machinery breakdown policy. So if there's any temperature excursions to any of the machinery failure, the insurer will get his claim. And of course, we because it's a regulatory, and we, like, while coming, we ask the client the cost of the stock and then we insure it, such that any mishap happens, the liability is negotiated.
Satish bhai, I would like to touch upon this point.
More than happy. Go ahead.
See, basically, if a shipper put a blame for the temperature excursion or put the claim on the service provider, no service provider will act. And the person who is heading, whether it's an aircraft carrier or the ship or the trucker, all are the transporter. They need to clear their terms in advance, that what is our responsibility and what is the responsibility of the shipper. And in case something goes wrong, how it has to be tackled. But indemnifying the shipper for temperature excursion or the rejection of the cargo for the value can never happen, because the service provider cannot have such type of deep pockets. So the most important thing is that clearing the terms in advance, that what I can do it. As you rightly pointed out, there are certain gray areas, no man's land, where something happens, nobody held responsible other than the trucker or person who is carrying the cargo. Done.
I think that was the reason that we touched upon this important aspect of for having proper SOPs, having the aspect of route risk assessments, also touching upon an important aspect of specified routes on which this product has to be done. You can't do an LCL reefer product for every country and every lane. But like Ahmed knows, or anyone who's on this panel will appreciate the fact that close to 35% of the cargo of pharmaceuticals goes to North America and Area 1 in the terminology. Similarly, there is substantial amount of requirement into Europe, into specific areas. So if those are clearly identified and then people decide that, you know, these are the only areas where there is a requirement, then I think the issue of claims and those also can be addressed. So that would be my take. So I've touched upon most of the questions that I could do. One is there on LCL reefer consolidation services on the exports side. Sandeep, I will like to answer that. Is that currently we have done an assessment. There is nothing like LCL reefer consolidation with data, because the data that is available currently today is based on the number of containers or shipping bills. But specifically LCL reefer consolidation on the export side is less available. However, probably few years from now, we may be able to get some data. So to come to the last part of it, I'll ask each panelist to give his closing remarks and then we can summarize, probably starting with Ritu. What be your last take to the closing of?
Satish, we lost you. Did you ask any question?
Yeah. I asked you. I asked you a question specifically. That the question is that now that we have covered all the aspects from consolidation to regulatory aspects to the rest of it, what would be your last take as a closing remark for this? Is it too late? Is it the right
Okay.
time, or what do you think?
Okay. See, this LCL, as Ravi also touched upon, that this particular the service has been discussed since many years, but somehow there has been a lot of resistance from the manufacturer, from the pharmaceutical companies, that whether this works for them or not. So I think considering the know-how, what we have learned over the period in terms of the expectation and how the service what all the service needs to deliver, I think it's the right time, because we know there is a cost pressure which is the pharma companies are facing. There has been and India as a geography, like I'm particularly talking for India as an export for LCL. So India as a geography is vast, and we know the different manufacturers has different plants located in different areas across India. So it's a workable thing where we target and we discuss with the customer, with the model, that which particular the order becomes applicable and qualify for this the LCL, and where we already ensure that basically that all root risk assessments, how the origin pickups would be there, what type of the temperatures which will be secured right from their plant up to the, so all those considering that aspect, I think it's the right time, and we have actually gone through in detail that how it needs to be implemented. So my take is that yes, it's the right time, and we can go ahead with that.
So I'll move on now to Ravi Kumar Tumapalli, probably also for his last bit before we come to the conclusion. Ravi, if you can give your take.
I think from pharmaceutical manufacturers, yeah. I think from a pharmaceutical manufacturers and exporters point of view, what I feel is that there are a lot of products what we have been producing and exporting for many years, particularly solid orals. When we look at solid orals, the stability of the product is also very good.
Is Ravi voice clear?
No. Ravi, your line is dropping.
Many batches.
Ravi, your voice is unclear. Ravi?
Data for those products.
Ravi, your voice is unclear, Ravi.
To give them the confidence that
Kiran, can you?
No, even I can't hear Ravi, and Ravi, your voice is unclear for the past a minute or so. Mr. Ravi, you have to go off video, Ravi.
No, he's off video. Okay, so I'll come back to Ravi. Maybe I'll quickly go to Ahmed. Ahmed, if you want to give your closing remarks, and for me, what will be interesting to hear from you is that 57%. Ahmed, majority of the cargoes now go out of Western region between Nhava Sheva and Mundra. Vizag has probably never got into the limelight, even though it's among the first seaports in this country. So what would your take be that is it the right time even for Visakhapatnam and the south ports to look at the product?
Yes, definitely, because if you look at the connectivity Visakhapatnam now, it has increased now. The kind of sailings, number of sailings per week is increased in Vizag. And companies like Isai Pharma, companies like Pfizer, other pharma companies, Pharmazel, they started shipping their cargo. And as a carrier, what we are trying to do is we are trying to connect these pharma containers ex-Colombo into US East Coast. And there is also a new service recently that came up in East India, connecting East Indian ports like Vizag, Krishnapatnam, Chennai, Cochin to Europe, North Europe directly. And this service also goes to Damietta. From Damietta, it is connected to West and East Med. So it's the right time for this concept, reef consolidation, to start from Hyderabad and Vizag. But if you ask me, ex-Nhava Sheva, there are more direct calls to US East Coast, US West Coast, and Europe. There are many players in Nhava Sheva region. And now I see pharma also moving to intra-Asia countries. So there are more direct calls from India now. It's a right opportunity, a right time to kickstart this new project. I personally feel, Satish.
Thank you. Thank you. So Ravi, you're back. Is your internet,
Yes, Satish. Sorry, apologies.
Okay.
My line
So can you
dropped off.
No problem. Yeah. So maybe you want to continue.
Continuing where I stopped, from a manufacturers and exporters point of view, I feel this is a new service, and to ward off all the apprehensions what the manufacturers had in the past, the safest bet is to start with solid orals. Solid orals are the tablets which we manufacture. We have been manufacturing these products for many years, and by virtue of that, all the manufacturers and the quality guys would have already got good amount of stability data available with it. So even though the products are mentioned as 15 to 25 degrees for transportation requirements, in many of the cases, the stability data would be available for excursion. With the solid orals, and then once we have all the information available after the end of the journey, like the temperature data, the transit time, the acceptance at the destination, then I'm sure it can be expanded to other product portfolios, and as well as at a little larger scale.
Okay, so I'll move on to Kamal and then over to Kiran in the final. So Kamal, what will be your last speak?
Satish bhai, it's a very encouraging solution, and I feel every shipper should have such type of options to send it at the cheaper mode of transportation. There will be challenges of compatibility, contamination, leakage, and various things. But all these things can be mitigated by proper consultation. And by such type of solution, we will have a service provider and the manufacturer much closer. There will be a lot of consultation will happen, which will create more related solution, and it will develop the partnership between the service provider and the manufacturer. And wherever we feel there are challenges of cross contamination, we can start with the single product, multiple shipper, or a single shipper, multiple consignees, single product. So wherever we feel there are challenges or study of the stability is needed, that can be avoided time being, but a start should happen. We must begin this type of services, and every service provider in this space should start thinking about this type of solution and contribute toward it. Over to you.
Okay. So, Kiran, since we start with you, probably we'll end with you with a closing remark. Kiran, you are muted. Huh? We can't hear you, Kiran. No. Kiran is still muted. So, can someone help Kiran, please, from the Guba team?
I think there are some technical problem.
So, am I clear right now?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you are clear.
Yep. Okay. Over to you, Kiran.
So there are some internet issues.
Okay. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Because
sorry,
there was
sorry,
some
Satish.
problem.
I don't know. I mean, there are some internet challenges. Here. So, Satish, we still have got, say, some 13-14 minutes to go. We still have a couple of critical questions in the QA box. Can we address a couple of them at least? Like, what do you suggest, Satish?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay. I have no problems in that, but there is some question that Mr. Rami Reddy has posed. How CBT will plan from Hyderabad to Nhava Sheva? I don't know whether Kamal wants to take that or Ritu wants to take it. I think this product, the CBT will be a question which we'll have to see whether we want to do a CBT clearly, or the cargo will have to be consolidated only at Nhava Sheva in a given thing. Or without avoiding CBT, we'll be able to do consolidation in Hyderabad itself. So that will be my answer. But if anyone else wants to answer that question, then they can do that. Kamal, do you want to take that question?
Yeah, Satish bhai, I feel the consolidation should happen in a place where the environment is sensitized and the GDP and GSP or the protocols are followed. The CBT method can be used for the less sensitive cargo, which does not require that type of protocol. Reason is the more touch points, more handling will lead to the contamination and the risk part. So in that case, if LCL has to start, it should start from the Hyderabad itself or the respective ICD or the port itself. Sending the goods from through CBT from one location to other location for further consolidation could be challenging in initial days.
Okay.
And just to add on to this point, like, because basis on the initial the risk assessments we have done, so we found that see the origin pickup from the factory needs to be on a dedicated only for that particular supplier, because we see that the risk of excursion, that if the trucks are like, because these the initial the pickups will be planned in the reefer trucks. So if this is like open and at a multiple place, there is a possibility of an excursion. So that's where the initial our assessment says that it needs to be a dedicated truck directly from the shipper to the consolidation facility.
So we have seen two participants have raised hands.
Okay.
Can we?
No, if you want to bring them on board for a question, otherwise I think we have addressed most of the questions, because there are some questions which are not relevant to the LCL product.
Yeah, Devi Prasad.
I don't want to take up.
Yeah, I'm allowing Devi Prasad to talk.
Okay, fine. Okay. Devi Prasad.
Yeah, Devi, you're
Tulsi.
offline, you're online. Rajat and Devi are on there. Devi, you can unmute yourself, Devi, and you can ask. Tulsi Prasad Devi.
Oh, sure, sure. But he's muted there.
So, Devi Prasad Tulsi, you have to unmute yourself. Okay, Rajat, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, Rajat?
Thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity for putting across my point. I'm thankful for pointing out all of you for pointing out the requirements for doing this activity, because like everyone has agreed upon, this LCL has a huge potential, especially given that the pharma industry is one of the booming industries and has a lot of movement from Hyderabad. Concor has recently done an experiment regarding what is called as ICE battery technology in the field of cold chain logistics. And this technology is owned by a Japanese company, Messrs. ITE. And in this, it's just like a, you can say as an ice pack, what we generally use in our medicine shops and such. So in this ice battery technology, we give a box in which can be, in which the moisture as well as the temperature can be maintained even if the ambient temperature goes as high as 42 degrees. And in the lockdown period, we have used this for the movement of perishable cargo from the north as well as into the Delhi-Mumbai corridor on an experimental basis. So what we found was that the temperature and humidity was not affected. And in this case, what I was trying to point out is that when we are speaking that the cargo should be segregated, each exporter wants that their cargo should not get contaminated in the procedure of transshipment. So even if the in transit there is some kind of a failure or equipment failure or any such power failure, to counter all those kind of possibilities, that this kind of technology that we are having with us could also be used for, you know, to the point till stuffing into the container. And in case, because the boxes are not very big size, if somebody wants to use directly those for air cargo as well. So because without any power supply, 3 to 4 days time, you can keep the cargo together without you know, being scared about the temperature variation or moisture variation. So I believe this kind of technology could also benefit anyone who is willing to go for LCL reefer consolidation.
Yeah, thanks, Rajat. In fact, you have provided a solution. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Satish,
So we can conclude actually, you know, since the closing remarks is done, you've taken Tulsi couldn't come on since he raised the hand. So
Yeah.
all I can tell is that it is not too late. It is the right time to look at this product across the country and on specific routes. There is a lot more work that needs to be done by various stakeholders, but I'm glad that at least the thought has come together today that Kiran had raised this with me and then followed up with an webinar. And I agreed when he asked me to moderate it for a reason is that we've been ourselves breaking our head for the last 2 hours. So thank you to all the panelists who have agreed and given their valuable inputs. I would personally like to thank the Gubba team also to make sure that there has been a good registration and participation. And we end this webinar with this, and maybe we'll share some more inputs through Gubba in their pharma news article as well. Over to you, Kiran.
Yeah, thank you, Satish. And actually, there are still 25 questions to be addressed. That shows that there is an urgency, there is a willingness. So, yeah, situations create inventions, and we have got situations, and not now, for the maybe next 6 months, 1 year, a couple of years to go. That LCL consolidation is the need of the hour. We all, most of our are badly wounded in terms of our numbers. So कोई भी पैसा बचा सकते हैं, और without denting the quality. Yes, LCL consolidation, why not? So Yeah, in fact, a couple of people were asking, like, I mean, is the customs permission, what you call clearance, possible at Gubba? Yes, yes, it is possible at Gubba. So, of course, this webinar is only to give you a sense that LCL consolidation is possible in Hyderabad and, of course, in Gubba. But there will be 100-odd real-time questions and challenges, conversations. Of course, we will take offline through a personal one-to-one conversation or an email. And but nevertheless, it's a good beginning. So I would first of all like to thank Satish Lakkaraju for your time, for modulating, being a moderator, sorry, doing some good job in handling all putting us all together. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed Sheikh. Thank you, Mr. Rituparna. Thank you, Mr. Ravi Kumar. Thank you, Mr. Kamal Jain, for your quality inputs, which I mean, the industry might have taken back. And I also thank back my team who are there ensuring that we, this room, handle this webinar and still manage what's out there needed for the pharma, food, etc. And I also thank Deepti Gubba for organizing this webinar. I also thank Raj, my colleagues Raj and Naveen for making this happen behind the curtains. And that's it. Wishing all of you having a great, good health, stay safe, yet do what's needed for the nation, for the company, and for your family. And thank you. And
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you, Satish.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
good job. So finally, enter the registration, sir?
258, sir.
250 now. Goodbye. Goodbye.